The spiritual journey begins with self-acceptance. Welcome back to Along the Spiritual Journey. I am Jah, your spiritual tour guide, and X is for X Factor. You are the gift. You are the prize. You are love. You are precious. You are important, and all of the above. I want people to remember that along this journey, you get to decide who you want to be over and over and over again. You get to reinvent yourself over and over and over again, and you don't have to explain it to anybody. You do not have to be the same person in childhood, who you were in your teenage years, who you were last year, last week, a day ago. You get to choose to be whoever you want to be. And some people might say, well, this is inauthentic, or pick what you want to be. Why? Who says? Who says that I have to look and act a certain way just because it makes you feel better? If you choose to authenticate who you are based on what you feel, then that's who you are. You don't need validation from other people to be who you want to be. Remember, everything on this earth is about expression. From nature to the color of the car, to how you have your house, to the clothes you wear. Flashback. When I was in junior high school, Abercrombie was the clothes to wear. Everybody was wearing Abercrombie. And I really wanted to fit in because that's what teenagers do. And guess what? Abercrombie didn't fit me. I was already like 6'3" something, whatever, and I was heavier set. So their smallest size was an extra small, extra small. Their medium was actually a small. Their large was actually a medium, and they didn't have extra large. They were like, no, this is not your size. So I would try to squeeze into these clothes that did not fit me, that didn't make sense, just so I could fit in, just so I could be like everyone else. And let me tell you this, conformity is the death of expression. It's okay to want to have the latest trends. It's okay to want to have the popular items and gadgets. But when you are doing it at the sacrifice of your own identity, then yes, conformity is not healthy. Because I was trying my best to wear these tight shirts with the pop collar and the shell necklace and the ripped jeans and my Doc Martens and trying to afford something that I couldn't afford. Don't get me wrong, I had to get a part-time job to wear this stuff. My friends' parents were buying all this for them. I had to go work to buy these same items. And then eventually I was just like, why am I spending almost $150 on boots I don't even like wearing? They're hot, they're uncomfortable. People are like, you gotta break them in. Okay, so I buy these expensive shoes just to get them to look warped? That don't make sense. So yes, this is what we do to ourselves, right? So as I got older, I learned that I was more of a plain Jane kind of guy. Like, I like clothes that don't have too many labels. I don't want the name plastered all over them. I don't need a lot of accessories. I love when people can accessorize. I love when people decide to dress up and embellish and be whoever they want to be, all the colors, I think it's awesome. I'm not saying that I don't do it sometimes. I just know that for the most part, my day-to-day personality is throw it on, take it off easy, on the go clothes. That's always been me. I was a church kid, so we used to have to dress up all the time. And maybe that's what started it. I do not like dressing up. I do not like tight collared shirts that are choking my neck and ties and all this stuff that's buttoned. It's hot, it's uncomfortable, it's just not for me. Now don't get me wrong. When I put it on, I look good. But it's not something that represented who I wanted to be. Right? The X factor is all about self-identification and who you know you represent and who you want to be. And every day you get to wake up and reinvent that person. You do not have to be anybody. I know people have said it before, but please listen. You do not have to be who you were as a child, a teenager, last year, this month, today, yesterday. You can be whoever you want to be, because the X factor is all about that it thing that you decide to represent and express and show honor to, right? Like, if you have big, beautiful eyes, show them eyes off. Buy accessories that show your eyes off. If you have beautiful hair or you're bald like me, represent it how you want to. I'm a hat guy. I love hats, so I rock a lot of hats, right? If you have a beautiful voice and you sing, sing. If you're a speaker, speak. If you're a dancer, dance. Again, we don't know how we're going to activate others. That was one of the biggest lessons I learned when I first started posting content, because everyone talks about it. You have some level of imposter syndrome where you feel like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, who am I of us as an authority to be doing this? But who is anybody? Who is anybody to be an authority on anything? You got to remember, one day somebody woke up and said, I'm a professional and I'm gonna be a professional. And then they talk a certain way and dress a certain way. And yeah, you can have a few degrees or you can have some schooling behind it, but you gotta remember there are people, a lot of people, I said it before, with degrees who are not all there. So just because you have a degree, people cheat, C's get degrees. And again, it doesn't mean anything. It's all about application of self and how you present self and who you know you're going to be. So a lot of people who you think shouldn't make it because they know who they are. They're like, I have an X factor that stands out and that I can be who I want to be anytime I want to be that person. And I celebrate that and I'm authentic to that, right? So when you understand that game is much easier to play. This is just like an avatar that you dress up for however you want to do it. Remember that how you dress the avatar don't matter. You still got to go do the journey, right? You can think about the Sims, video games, whatever. However you dress them up is how you dress them up. It still does not stop the process of they got to eat, they got to sleep, you got to give them shelter, you got to make them work, you got to make them functional, you got to give them purpose on some level, right? So however you express yourself, that's up to you. But the confidence in self is the X factor. That's the part that makes you stand out. So for me, I am very confident in how I speak. I've never ever been like a shy person as far as expressing myself. As a kid, I was shy to express my ideas because a lot of people weren't there yet. Things I thought of, people were like, where do you come up with this stuff? Okay, whatever, John. Okay, sure. And then years later, they're like, oh my God, that thing you talked about, it's happening now. And I'm like, oh, and then that's when I really started to listen to my gift because I was like, I see things and feel things years in advance. If it helps, I'm an Aquarius. So when they say we're future forward thinking, it is true. Like I will start a project or start something or have an idea of something and I'll do it and ain't nobody rocking with it. And then lo and behold, 3 to 4 or 5 years later, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. And I'm just like, okay. And I don't ever get upset about that. You know, some people, they get in their feels like, I was doing it first. No, that just tells me that I'm on the right frequency. I am tapped and tuned in, right? I talked about earlier vibration and frequency. My vibration is genuine joy. When people meet me, they're like, you seem like a happy person. I am. Like, I don't really have too much that upsets me. Do I get upset? Yes, I'm a human being. But for the most part, my vibration is joy. My frequency is like talking about spirituality, consciousness, science, the universe, life. And then that frequency is what calls in like-minded people and tribe who are resonating with what I'm saying. And they're like, yeah, I like that. I see it. There's something in you. And people say that. You can see it with some people where it's like, you have something in you where you're like, you're meant to be known, or you're meant to be famous, or you're meant to do great things on this earth. Everybody has that. You just have to tap into it. Remember, being an NPC is a choice. If you keep trying to just get to the point of so much uniformity and conforming and trying to be like everybody else so much, who you are will become muted. Your actual inner child will sit in that room, like I said, and put their back against the wall and think that they're safe, even though they're completely exposed to the whole world, thinking that no one sees me, but yet they're doing everything that everybody else is doing. So when you meet somebody, you can be like, oh, this is just a minion. They're not unique to self. You can see when someone, now here's the thing that I had to stop doing. I became Captain Save-It, you know, where I kept seeing the worth in everybody because I see the worth in all. I see the value in all. But if you don't see it and you don't believe it, it doesn't matter, right? The X factor in you is right over your head, right in front of your face, but you refuse to develop it, to appreciate it, to just express it. And so it will get lost in translation. And then lo and behold, somebody else does. And you're like, I thought about doing that. Well, you didn't do it though. So now somebody else who literally is in the same energy tribe as you is expressing it. That's how the universe works. It needs a vessel to express itself. We are all cups that it needs to drink out of. So if it's trying to pour into you and you're blocking it off or you keep falling over, well, guess what the universe is going to do? It's going to go get another cup that's stable, that knows who it is, that's ready to be filled, right? That's how it works. So you have to know who you are and what you want to be. You don't have to be anything for anyone else. And when I say know who you are, you have to know that how you express is authentic and you're not lying to yourself. There's one thing that I do really well. I don't lie. When I was a kid, I used to fabricate everything because guess what? I learned that if you lie, you get more. That's what a lot of people do. That's what all children do. Because it's like, well, if I tell the truth, I'm going to get in trouble. And everyone's like, don't say that, don't do that. And okay, I won't say that. And then in secret, when behind closed doors, it's okay if you say it. No one cares. Okay, so now you're teaching me to be like this little scandalous being who has to lie for certain people and be honest. So we're always masking. That's also going to cover up your X factor. So when you are not masking, not covering up, not lying to yourself, it is much easier to express yourself. The thing about the voice that I love is that you don't know who you're activating or how you're activating them. When I tell you there are people on this platform that I only listen to their videos because of their voice, I don't even care what they're saying. Their voice alone makes me just be like, oh, they know what they're saying, they got it, and I don't even know why. Like, it feels like home, it feels safe, or it feels like it's speaking to me, right? That's just how it works. There's singers where there's certain singers, people be like, oh, well, this singer's better than that. To each their own. That vibration of their tone, their voice, how they deliver, the eloquency of whoever they are represents that X factor that is a tribe, right? Energy is a tribe. It knows who it wants to belong to if you care to express it. So if you don't express it, it's just gonna go find the energies that choose to know who they are or are willing to express it. Now, there are people who know how to put on the uniform and pretend to be these energies, but they burn out very quickly. You see who they are because they don't last very long. This is literally one-hit wonders and other stuff. And I'm not saying like industry one-hit wonders. I mean people, they get, one hit and then after that, oh, I'm working on my next thing, but they didn't expect to be that. They did it once and now they're trying too hard. Versus just expressing the energy that comes through them and they're just singing because they want to sing, or they're just being because they want to be. That's how it works. I love watching the actual show, The X Factor, because it's like the people who, they come up there all shy, they look all quiet and meek and all this, and that's the whole point of the show. You're judging people on their uniform, on how they look, on how you think a star should look. But then when they open their mouth, woo, the beautiful voices or the tone or the skills that they have or the dance or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, this person is so talented. And then as they get famous, they change how they look and all that. And again, that's fun, but that's not who you are. The X factor is what you present as who you love to be, what you love to do, that comes to you naturally without being forced to do it, right? There's a lot of things on this earth that we're forced to do, and we say that's who we are. If you say so. For me, I'm an orator, I'm a speaker, I am a coach, an encourager, a business person. I'm all those things, great? That's on paper. But me naturally, as the solo jah, the soul and the being, I'm joy. So for me, anything I do, I'm always going to find the joy in it. I'm always going to represent joy as a tribe. And some people don't like that. They get annoyed, like, okay, shut up. You're always trying to find the silver lining. I'm not saying that you can't be upset and that you can't be bitter, but isn't that exhausting? I'd rather be happy that I know I can see that light at the end of the tunnel no matter where I'm at. And so for me, that X factor becomes how my confidence represents me, right? When I talk about authenticity and being authentically self, that comes with confidence. And people are like, well, how do you get confidence? You stop caring. I don't know when it got, like, again, the things that people weaponize are usually something you should look into. So when I used to say when I was younger, like, oh, I don't care, whatever, I don't care. People are like, don't say that. And I'm like, well, I don't care. It doesn't mean I don't care about you. I just don't care about the topic or the issue because it's not relevant to me. Now, can I have empathy for someone in a situation that doesn't have relevancy to me? Absolutely. I can understand and sympathize where they're coming from. But that doesn't mean I have to care to the degree that they care. Right? Okay. So building confidence is knowing that, okay, well, that's not for me to care about right now because it's not going to change anything. Now I can give you a hug, I can sit and listen, I can be there for you. But when it's time to get ready and get up, what you going to do? You got to do something. So that's where the confidence comes from. Like, I have been down and out crying. And I tell people, there was a person on TikTok, again, I'm not good with names and pointing them out, but She said something that was really profound, which is, don't try to control your emotions. Don't try to manage them to the point that you're not expressing them. I, under pressure, don't seem like I'm emotional, but all of my emotions are going at once inside of me. What I've learned to do is, once the situation is over, I sit down and I let it all out. Right? In that moment, I don't have time to process and be like, ah! And there's times I have been crying and still like, oh, I gotta still do it. I'm gonna cry these tears because they gotta come out, but I still gotta keep moving. Because that's just how it works. Some people need to sit down and cry. Some people need to lay down and cry. It's fine. But you gotta get back up. That's the confidence part. So what drives me is knowing that when anything happens, I'll be okay. I know this sounds morbid, but I've said it in many videos. If you follow me this long, you've seen it, me say it before. We are all going to pass from this earth. So stressing about something that ain't gonna matter, ain't gonna matter. Seriously, like, once it's over, it's over. There's been times when I was stressing like, oh my God, where's the money gonna come from? Where's the opportunity gonna come from? Just know that all you can do is present yourself and be available when it's time. Because guess what? Something that was hard today is probably something laughable tomorrow, right? So that's what I've learned. I've learned that no matter what I do, no matter how much I accomplish, no matter how many degrees and certificates and all this I do, I'm still gonna pass from this earth. So for me, it's all about leaving a legacy, a legacy that helps others get through the everyday. That's my X factor. I'm not here to try to heal people. That's your job. I'm here to guide. And I learned a long time ago, I am a much better guide than I am supposed to be like a full-blown nurturer where I'm like a therapist, where I'm sitting there and coddling and helping you through. I can't do that. I'm not built for that. What I am built for is, okay, well, I'm gonna give you your space and time to have this moment, but when you are ready, right over there's a bridge that if you cross it, it's gonna take you to the best you ever, with the best life ever. There will still be challenges. There will still be obstacles, but they won't be as hard because you have authentic self and you have confidence to work through it. And then when you do it, guess what? Your gifts unfold like flowers. When I tell you I've worked with so many people, especially when it comes to my main career or my main job is marketing and branding. So my day job is marketing and then my business is brand identity. When I tell you that I've worked with so many people from the C-suite executives and all these people who own things, and their confidence is not there. They use money and appeal and status as confidence, but you meet them behind closed door and they are fragile as hell, right? And so I'm just kind of like, wait a minute, you're making all these decisions based on this fickle moment of when you were a kid and somebody didn't give you the balloon you wanted and now you're going to take it on everybody else? That's a lot of these people who own businesses. Like a lot of that, when they're like, go back to work, no remote, physical jobs only. Those are people who are bitter. Why are you so, or they're making money off of something that they know, like, we need your physical body back there, and they're not going to tell you that. But in reality, as a business owner, why do you care where people are working? If me as a business owner, as long as the work is getting done, I don't care if you're doing it, AI is doing it, I don't. I genuinely don't. And I know some people are not going to like that statement, but as a real business owner, I just want the vision to be created, because as long as the vision is being created and the back end is being done, that means I can focus on imagining more new things and hiring the people who really want to create and build with me versus putting people in a box in a room and punching numbers and stuff. If you like doing that, great. But for me, that's not who I am. So my end goal is never going to be focused on reports and this and that and status reports. I mean, it's important to some people. It's not important to me. For me, I'm like, is it getting done? Okay, great. However you get it done is how you get it done. So I need people to remember that there's many different levels to who we can be and who we are. You just have to know what you represent. So when it comes to leadership and people who are out there creating visions and then they're implementing it to the world and then they're employing people, that's a big deal. That's why having an X factor is important, because you have to know how to engage yourself. You have to know how to be proud of what you do and trust in what you do, no matter what. Even if other people don't see the vision, you have to trust the vision. When an artist is a music artist, they have to trust that they know their love of singing, their love of writing, their love of performing outweighs that of people's judgment, right? Athletes, they have to know that the love of the game, the discipline and the practice, all of that, because they enjoy it, is bigger than what other people think. That's why you can't care. That's why I tell people, you can care about what matters when it comes to things like life, the universe, the environment, your home, your family. That's great. But the nuance of stuff like, well, what were they wearing? Who cares? I don't care. Well, what did they do before they got here? Like, do they have good credit? I don't care. Remember, this is a game that people created to make us feel like we're not worthy. Do you understand that I just got a new apartment and like they have to do a credit check for electricity. And then if they don't make it, they want $350 just as a deposit based on some other stuff. It's not even based on utilities or rent or anything. They're basing it on, well, you didn't pay these other bills. Guess what? That's fine. If that's what y'all want to do, people are like, well, just pay your bills. Okay, well then give me more money. Some of us fall short in certain parts of our life. It doesn't mean that we're not valuable. Some of us are not always going to do the right thing the right way, and that's okay. But what matters is that you know that you are more important than some number on a piece of paper, and that you can pick yourself up and go back out there and keep doing what you're doing and showing who you are. Again, the X factor is about what you have to offer for self, not for others, for self. And when you do that and genuinely enjoy it and you love what you do and you love who you are, that's what makes you money. That's what gives you status. That's where all the benefits come from. When we talk about blockages and stuff, like for me, it took a really long time to figure out when they like, what's a blockage? And I kept thinking like, I'm doing everything right. I don't understand why things aren't working out for me. And until one day I just realized, experience. You got to go experience. If you don't experience life, you're not ever going to understand why your gift is as important as it is. If you're stuck in a box in a bubble, you're only going to know that environment. And so therefore you only know that box and bubble, and nothing's going to happen outside of that. Even if you're the most talented person in the world, if you can't step outside of that box to see self and experience the world the way it's meant to be experienced, which is uninhibited and just at your own leisure, then yeah, it doesn't matter how much you are good at something if no one knows who you are. And I don't mean we need validation of them knowing who you are. I mean you putting yourself out into the world to express that energy so that your vibration can align with the tribe and people that you want to be around, and that your frequency can pull in the information and the status or the love that you require. Because we all require some level of love, which is, I want to feel safe. I want to feel protected. I want to feel okay, right? Even the most evilest person still wants these things because it's some level of safety and protection. Now, the way they go about it might not be right, but that's just the point of it all, which is why I love emotional intelligence, which is why I love spirituality, because no one can escape it. No matter how logical you think you are, you can't escape the fact that you have to know who you are on the inside and that you're not lying to yourself. Again, the more you fabricate your identity, the more you're going to cover up your real gifts. The more you're not going to know who you are. And then the X factor that's meant to be expressed, just like any chromosome or gene, will not be expressed until it's ready. It will lie dormant in you until you allow yourself to actually make way for it to activate. That's why I said, like, again, it took me a while to figure it out, but these videos are for me. And then when other people follow along and listen and enjoy it, it feels good. But that's not what drives me. I just have so much in my head that I'm just like, I gotta say this. That was too good. I gotta say that. Or I'll meet people where they don't see what I see in them, which is why, again, I'm not Captain Save-A-Ho, because unfortunately, I mean, I love that term, but I'm not calling everybody out. But you see the value in them, but they don't see the value in themselves. And I've said this before. I might have said it earlier in the video. I don't remember. But if they don't see the value, it doesn't matter. If they don't see their own X factor, it doesn't matter. They're not going to believe you. They're not going to believe they're worthy. They're not going to, and then what's going to happen? You're creating a codependent trauma bond relationship, because now all they're going to do is come to you to be filled up, even if they don't even know why they need your validation, right? And that's why I say I don't thrive off validation. I thrive off of understanding. Now, I know that's an oxymoron, because or overstand. I don't understand. That's one of the ones we like to say. I overstand because it means that I can now look and see every part of me from the aerial view, from that tertiary perspective. I can see the ground, I can see the sky, I can see behind me, around me. That's overstanding. Understanding is when you're in somebody else's hold and you're only seeing what they're allowing you to see. That's why you have to know who you are. That's why you have to have confidence in self. That's why I say, in order to be confident, you can't care. You just can't. You can have a loving heart, but you just can't care about everything. You can't care about how people feel about you, what people say about you. They're just words. It's not real. It is what it is. Unless somebody's physically trying to fight you, which again, you can't even care about that, because you got to do what you got to do. Just know how to handle yourself and go from there. But for the most part, you got to just ignore people and go from there. That's how you build confidence. And then once that confidence is built and you know that you don't care about what other people are trying to pin on you or put on you, it's going to slide off you like water off a duck's back. It's going to slide right off because it can't stick to you. What is not meant for you will not stick to you. If you are constantly forcing yourself to wear a mask and pretend to be somebody that you're not, or not validating who you are, or you're not authentic and you're in this hidden world and fixed on who you think you're supposed to be, then you will stay locked in that world, and your X factor will also stay locked away. That thing in you that makes you you is why you're here. And I know people hear it all the time. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Everyone's not important. Every single cell on this earth is important, because that's what every human is a cell. And that's why collectively, if we work together in certain things, we get things done, just like an organ, right? Every organ is made up of cells and tissues and muscles and things that it works together to do this byproduct of something. And then that organ helps the whole system, and the whole system helps the whole body. That's why I say the universe is utilizing all of us to help it do something. So depending on how you want the universe to work through you is how it's going to work through you. So again, either you choose to be the glass that pokes holes in itself and never gets filled up, so the universe is like, well, I can't use you because you're non-functional. Or you patch up those holes, you find a way to hold water, and you let yourself overflow. And when the universe sees that you can hold what it's giving you, your gift will amplify. Not only will your gift amplify, your confidence will amplify. And when confidence amplifies, your output amplifies. And the output is simply being who you are, self-expression, existing, and just loving this life on this earth as is now. Again, tomorrow, we don't know if we'll be here. Yesterday's already gone. We already know this. So the present is the most important time. The present now is the only thing that matters. So if you are not paying attention to what brings value to you, and if you're not speaking up, if you're not, again, posting or whatever you want to do, writing, anything, it doesn't have to be public. It just has to be for self. Because again, when you do it for self, you understand that it's meant for you. Every single thing I do, anything video I make, I always watch them back and laugh. I was like, that was meant for me to hear. I'm out here preaching to other people, but in reality, that was meant for me to hear. So that's what makes me get better and better and better at what I do, right? Because at the end of the day, I love making videos, but for me, I love brand identity. I love what brand identity to me is. What do you represent? What are your morals? Why do you wake up every day and do it? What makes you bring you joy, right? Yeah, you can do it for the money and the likes. That's wonderful. But everyone said it before, and I know a lot of people don't like hearing it, but once you have it, you really do get bored with it. Like, I've done that so many times. I'm like, oh, I wish and hope, and I can't wait until I have this thing, and then I get the thing, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, now I want the next thing. And I don't care what many humans say, we're all like that. We are all like that. So that's why another thing is practicing gratitude is going to amplify that X factor in you. So go out there and express yourself. Be who you are. Love who you are. It's not going to be an easy route or an easy road, but again, take the time to cross that bridge and find out what drives you and what makes you love yourself. Because that's what's going to allow others to love the self in you and in them. Because again, I'm all about don't do it for everybody else, do it for yourself. So anyways, I hope this makes sense. I love you guys. Thanks for following along. Check me out on all my socials as well as my website. Press this like button, press that follow button. Whatever you want to do is up to you. As always, I love ya.